Well, as anticipation mounts ahead of Robert Mueller's testimony, Republican Representative Devin Nunes says the probe was an obstruction of justice trap for the president. One America's John Hines caught up with Nunes and has this second part of our exclusive interview.
Why are the Democrats doing it this way? Why is Mueller agreeing to this? Because they want to have their showdown out in the public court with rules that fit them, because I only get 5 minutes to question, right? So you're not going to get a Perry Mason moment, but I do think that's why I want to use the time as much as I can to get real answers to very specific questions. I think that's the best that we can do.
You mentioned there's been a little controversial. There's been something called back channeling, I think, in the negotiations with the special counsel. Talk about that. Talk about what you've been saying.
I gave you the example earlier of when Barr came out with his original memo, right? He had talked to Mueller. He had been briefed by Mueller. He came out with a memo. He checked it with Mueller. And then somebody got to Mueller in that time period that made him, and somebody wrote that 9-minute, basically, speech that he gave. So I think we have to expect past behavior equals future behavior. There's been no, this is going to be Mueller's last day in the sun. He picked those team members for a reason. You have to imagine they're all briefing Mueller, and I think it would be Pollyanna to think that they're not back channeling to the Democrats. What Mueller will try to do is he's going to try to play it straight and look like he's playing it straight, but then he will do some things that will try to make the president look bad, because clearly this is a guy who was out to get the president. He's probably not going to answer this question, but it's the one that everybody wants to know. When did you know whether or not there was any evidence that Trump was colluding with Russians? Now, the answer is he knew from the very beginning. How do we know that? Because we know the lead investigator said that in his text messages to his lover, who was also an investigator on the team, who were both fired early on for bias and other matters. We have to know, and I think prepare for the worst, that he's going to do something where he looks like he's very serious and doing the right thing, but then giving some crumbs to the Democrats for impeachment. Because the whole investigation, I'll just sum it up like this, okay? The entire investigation was only an obstruction of justice trap. It was not an investigation on obstruction of justice. It was an obstruction of justice trap.
The whole investigation?
The whole investigation, right?
Should someone go to jail, and if so, who?
So we've made 8 criminal referrals. You've covered them all on your programming. And I believe some are really easy cases that could be brought about people who lied to Congress, obstructed our investigation. So, I mean, we have several clear-cut cases that are lying to Congress.
Where FBI employees have lied to Congress.
FBI and DOJ and others. So you're innocent until proven guilty. Mm-hmm. Congress can investigate but not prosecute. And then you still have a right to a jury trial.
So what do you think are the 2 most important questions to ask Mr. Mueller when you have an opportunity?
Well, I think we're going to have dozens and dozens of questions on specific topics that just need to be asked for the record. And we want to try to get through as many of those as possible, just to get more facts in the case that then we can present back over to the Department of Justice. I'll just give you a couple that need to be asked, that are just off the top of my head. Did he know that Weissman was meeting with reporters before he put him on to the special counsel? Did he know whether or not that Weissman had been briefed and likely had seen the Steele dossier in the summer of 2016, right? So the dossier is really important evidence to this whole investigation, because it's how the investigation started. If a police officer is somebody out there, they get information, right? They get evidence, they collect evidence. Well, they're going to be witnesses in a trial. They're not going to run the prosecution of the criminal, and that's what Weissman did.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.